Stephanie, and I am back in business with a brand new video camera. I'm so excited to be able to be doing scrapbook process videos again, and I'm really looking forward to doing this layout. So just a quick disclaimer though before we jump into the layout. I was hoping to be able to do a video with audio, and so I wouldn't have to do a voiceover. But unfortunately that didn't work out for me. I am not very good at talking and scrapbooking at the same time, and I'm really not good at having to explain my process as I am scrapbooking. So you're getting stuck with a voiceover here, and you will see my hands kind of moving all over the place because I am talking in the video. You just can't hear me because I've erased that out. So hopefully that won't be too distracting. I do apologize in advance, and I'm going to try to master the art of doing a video with audio, but I'm not making any promises. You might be stuck with voiceover for a while. So let's just jump into the layout. The first thing that I've done here is I've grabbed a piece of white cardstock, and using my washi tape, I'm going to adhere the cardstock temporarily to my cutting mat. And the reason that I do this is just to make sure that I have everything straight. I find that often when I'm scrapbooking, especially if I'm working with layers or like square pieces of paper or rectangles and whatnot, often I'll look back at my layout once I'm finished and realize that things are a little bit crooked. So I just like to place my cardstock directly onto my cutting mat like this so that I can line it up and make sure that everything is straight and is perfect and that it will all work out in the end. So I've gone ahead and grabbed a piece of paper here from Teresa Collins. It's from her Something Wonderful collection, which is a new release that I am absolutely loving these days. And I'm going to cut a rectangular strip of that paper. I've just marked with a pencil where I'm going to cut, and I'm using my paper trimmer to trim it down. And I'm going to place that there. And then the next paper that I've grabbed is just a strip of paper from a Glitz design sheet, and I believe it's from one of the papers in the Finley collection. It's just the bottom, the barcode strip at the bottom of the paper. So again, marking with my pencil and cutting it where it needs to be cut. And you'll notice that I'm not actually adhering anything down just yet, and that's something that I like to do with my layouts. I like to just play around with the layout and the design of things before I actually commit to sticking things down with glue and adhesive, just because I tend to change my mind about where I'm going with the layout 10 times before the layout is finished. So this way I'm able to just move things around and not have to worry about carefully peeling things up off the page and stuff like that. And this lovely paper here, I don't remember the name of the manufacturer. It's a European brand, I think. And I know that it's from a collection that was called So Delicious. So if you're interested in that paper, I'm sure if you type in soda and then licious, So Delicious paper, it should come up. And I have this piece of paper here from Pink Paisley, I believe. And my original plan was to use it underneath that paper from the European manufacturer, but I'm finding that it's actually a little bit too busy. And when I place the photo on top there to check, I'm definitely finding that it makes it look a little bit too busy. That's not really the look that I'm going for. I think it just clashes with the other pattern paper that I use, the circles with the letters. And then the back side here is definitely too busy, so that's out. So I'm going to need to go back to the drawing board and find a new paper to use. And I'm actually just going to end up using the back side of that same paper from Teresa Collins. The B side of that paper just has regular circles with some newsprint inside, and I think that looks a lot nicer than the other paper that I was going with, the Pink Paisley one. And I'm just layering the papers here one on top of another with my photo on the very top there. And most of these papers are from my counterfeit kit for the month of May. And if you are not familiar with the Counterfeit Kit Club, you should definitely go over to the blog and check that out. You can find a link to it on my blog, or you can go to counterfeitkitchallenge.blogspot.com and just get more information on that. And what I've done here, sorry about my flailing hands, what I've done here is just snapped a photo of the layout with my cell phone. This is something else that I do often when I'm scrapbooking, just so that I have a reference when I start to stick things down, and I can go back and look at the picture and remember exactly where I had things. I tend to forget where I place things, and then as I'm gluing, I'm like, wait a second, I didn't have that there. I don't like it like that. So that just saves me a lot of heartache in the long run. And so here I'm just using mounting squares, mounting little squares of adhesive that I picked up at the dollar store. My ATG gun tape is temporarily out. I used up the last of it during National Scrapbook Day, so I'm stuck with the Dollarama stuff for a couple of days, but that's okay. It works just fine, and it is, you know, acid free and photo safe and all that jazz, so it should be okay. And I'm just sticking it onto all of my pattern papers here, and I will be adhering those papers onto my cardstock. And this is one of the reasons why I had to do the voiceover, because I was like completely silent during this part of the video, like no talking at all for like 5-10 minutes, and I realized that that probably wouldn't be very entertaining for you guys to watch, and it wouldn't be very helpful at all, so I had to do a voiceover. There are a lot of scrapbookers who are able to just talk and scrapbook at the same time. Monica, who does Scrap Saturdays, is one of those scrapbookers. She chats up a storm as she's putting together her layouts, and I am so envious of that. I wish I could do that, but when I'm kind of in my zone, I'm not really a chatterbox at all, so it's really, really hard for me to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Anyways, sorry about all the rambling here. Just sticking down more papers. I really want there to be a lot of layers, and the plan for this layout is to have kind of like clusters of embellishments and lots of layers here on the right hand side, and I do want to leave quite a bit of white space on the left side. And that's one of the only things I don't like about these squares from the dollar store. It takes forever. It takes forever to stick them down and get your papers onto the layout. With the ATG gun, it's like and you're done. It's like stuck, but these squares take a bit more time. So I'm very happy with all those layers, and I think that I made the right choice in going with that paper from Teresa Collins instead of the pink paisley one. I think it looks a lot nicer. And I've just grabbed some spray mists here from Heidi Swapp. These are some of my favorite products to use. I love them. And I've got them in mint and teal. And I'm just gonna drop some spray mist onto the layout, but before I do that, I need to transfer the layout into a cardboard box because I am a very, very messy mister, and I always get mist everywhere no matter what I'm doing. So I'm gonna transfer it into a box, and then I'm gonna drop some spray mist onto my layout. Just peeling off the washi tape and removing the photo. And here's my box. This is just a cardboard box that I had a scrapbook kit that was sent to me in, and I've just kept it, and I've been using it as my little misting box. So I'm going ahead and splashing some of the mint green Color Shine mist onto the layout. There's no real rhyme or reason for my strategy here. It's just a little bit everywhere. And I love how it leaves a little bit of shimmer on the cardstock. It's really, really pretty. And I also love using mist because I find that sometimes, especially if you're doing a more linear layout, it can end up looking a little bit cookie cutter, just having, you know, the paper, which is fine. I mean, I do lots of layouts that look like that. But I think when you add even just a little bit of mist, it just adds kind of an artistic flair, and it just makes it look like you've spent so much time on the layout, even if you haven't. So that's just a trick to use if you find that your layouts are looking a little cookie cutter, or you wish that they had a little bit more dimension and texture and whatnot. You can try using spray mist. It's a trick that I do all the time. Alright, so I've stuck my layout down onto the cutting mat again with the washi tape to hold it in place. And I know that I want to embellish that right hand side. I've grabbed some sugar dots or enamel dots from Prima. And I've got a sticker sheet here from Allison Kreft from the Sprinkled with Love collection. And I'm sure there are a few stickers on there that I'll be able to use. But first, I do find that there's just a little bit too much white space on the left-hand side. So I'm going to grab my Martha Stewart heart punch and just punch out a few hearts. And my original intention when I was punching out these hearts was to have them lined up along the edge of the left-hand side. But I decided instead that they would look nicer if I threw them onto the right-hand side of the layout. So I'm going to add some 3D foam squares or foam circles to the back of those, and I'm going to place them, just scatter them really across the right-hand side of the layout. And I'm just using a paper from Lawn Fawn for those hearts from the Hello Sunshine collection. And that Martha Stewart heart punch is probably my favorite punch of all time. I use it often and I love it. It's a great buy. If you do a lot of love layouts or, love cards or whatever, then it's definitely a great investment to make. It's only like $10 or something like that. Maybe it's a bit more than 10, but it's a really good buy, a great investment. So I'm just sticking the hearts here just randomly. I'm trying to create, I guess, not a visual triangle, but I'm just trying to add them so that they draw the eye in towards the photo. And I've just added a little tag there from a Project Life card that I cut in half. And I'm going to stick that underneath the photo. And I'm sorry that the layout is not really in focus right now. I'm not sure what I did wrong here. I didn't touch the video camera or anything like that, so I still have a bit to learn with this camcorder of mine. I've never used this fancy schmancy camera before and really not sure what I'm doing. So I apologize for the video quality, but it will get better. I do promise. My next video I will be on top of things. So as I was saying before, I find there's a little bit too much white space here, so I'm just going to cut some strips of paper. And the strips of paper that I'm choosing are papers that I have already used on the right-hand side. So that's just going to help draw, I don't know, not draw the eye in, but it's just going to help create a more balanced look on the page. If I have a little bit of a hint, really, of the papers that I've already used on the right-hand side. So I'm just cutting the strips, and I'm cutting them by hand, not with my paper trimmer. I don't need it to be perfect or anything like that. Like I said, it's just a hint. And I like how that's looking, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab my adhesive. Just going to trim that down a little bit. And I'm carefully sticking those little mounting squares onto that thin strip of paper. So there will be a bit of adhesive that hangs off the edge of my layout, but I will trim that off before the end, that's for sure. Excuse me. Should have grabbed a glass of water. I haven't done a voiceover for a layout that's like 20 minutes long in a really long time, so my throat is like super parched right now, and I'm sorry if I sound weird. I haven't done it in a while, so. All right, and I'm almost done with those little strips. But I'm quite happy with how it's looking. I think that putting the strips there really does help balance it out. And I think it would have been a little too much white space if I had just left it blank. So I'm happy with that decision. Now, my original intention here was to use these yellow hearts in addition to the hearts that I punched out with the Martha Stewart punch. But that was when I was planning to use this paper here underneath the photo. Now that I'm not using it, and I chose the paper by Teresa Collins instead, and there's no yellow on my page whatsoever, the yellow hearts just really wouldn't have looked very good. They would have looked out of place. So instead I've grabbed the exact same hearts, but they're in blue. And these are from Studio Calico. They're chipboard hearts that I purchased from Simon Says Stamp. I did a feature on them in my little haul video that I posted a few days ago. And if you watch that haul video, then you already know this, but I mentioned in that video that they do not have an adhesive backing, and I wasn't a big fan of that. And this is why, because I'm using glue dots to stick them down, and it's so frustrating because I try to stick it onto the glue dot and then I peel it off and the glue dot remains and the heart has no adhesive. It's just so frustrating. It's really hard to get the glue dot to stick to the back of that chipboard. So maybe I'll have to try glossy accents next time or a clear liquid glue. But just be aware of that if you're planning to get these heart shapes. They are really cute and I love the colors that are being offered, but it's so annoying to stick the adhesive on the back of them. If you have these hearts and you have found an adhesive that works really well, please let me know in the comments below because I have a lot of them and I really like them, but I just don't have time to mess around with glue dots like this. And now I'm just adding in some enamel dots. These ones are from Prima. They're actually called sugar dots, but they're just enamel dots. And I'm grabbing this little sticker that has two little lovebirds on it. It's from the Allison Kreft Sprinkled with Love collection, so I'm going to try to find a home for that. And I really like this little sticker as well that also is from that same collection by Allison Kreft. Just trying to find the right place for it. And I think it looks pretty good over there. And I was hoping to be able to fit in the other half of that sticker, but it just doesn't look very nice. So I think I'm just going to leave it. And I really love this Lovebird sticker, and that's actually what gave me the idea for the title of this layout, because the Lovebirds are kind of on a branch and they're looking at each other, and my husband and I are sitting on a little wall outside of the location that we got married in, and we're looking at each other, and I just thought it was really cute. So I'm going to end up calling this layout Lovebirds, and that was inspired by that little sticker. So I'm just grabbing my thickers here, and I'm going to spell out Lovebirds. And you'll notice that I'm sticking them onto a ruler, and this is something that I do almost all the time. I would say 95% of my layouts, actually probably higher, 98% of my layouts. I stick my title, my letter stickers onto a ruler, and then that gives me the ability to play around with it on the layout and see exactly where I want it to go before I stick it down. And this is a trick that I learned from Amy Tan. She does this, and I just thought when I saw it for the first time, I thought that is brilliant, because let's be honest, how many times have we, placed letter stickers down on a layout and then decided that we don't like where it is, or we don't have enough room to spell out the word that we wanted to spell, and we end up like peeling it off and we tear some of the paper. I do that all the time, or at least I did before I started using this trick. So highly recommend getting a clear ruler for your titles. It will save you so much time and so much heartache. Trust me on this one. So I'm sticking down my photo now because I'm pretty confident that I'm almost done this layout, and I'm spelling out the Lovebirds. I start from the back and work my way forward to make sure that I really do have enough space and that everything is lined up the way that I want it to be. And I just love this font of Thickers. I think it's so pretty. I'm just pressing down now. And I'm going to put the little Lovebirds right there between the photo and the title. And I'm not sure if you can see it in the video here, but I've actually added a 3D foam dot to the back of that sticker just to help the sticker pop off the page. And I'm just looking at my sticker sheet here. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can add to the layout. I'm wondering if maybe I should spell out July, which is when we got married, but I decide against it. And then I find this sticker that says "Life is better with you," and I really, really like that, and I'm trying to see if I can fit it in, and I think it looks really cute underneath that Lovebirds. Especially because I have another strip that's almost the same width, that blue strip from Finley. So this little subtitle here I think looks really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And I'm adding another one of the hearts over there on top of my cluster. And I'm just playing around with some more of the chipboard hearts from Studio Calico, just because you can never have enough hearts on a wedding layout. And I'm going to stick them down again using the glue dots that are going to drive me crazy because they're not going to stick on the first time, but I eventually get it to work out. And I don't know what my thing is. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years now, and I did scrapbook most of our wedding photos when we first got married, but lately the collections that have been released and the papers and color schemes, I just have been super inspired to go back and scrapbook more of my wedding photos. So this is actually the 3rd layout in a row that I've made that features wedding pictures. And I'm just going to show you some close-ups here. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry that it wasn't perfect quality, but I promise to be better next time. And for more layouts like this one, you can always visit my blog, skylinepapery.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.